Family, thanks for joining another episode of Black Gay Table Talk. I'm your host, Kenan, and for today's episode, we have an amazing treat for you. A veteran promoter in the LGBT community. He's been making impacts for some time for us in the community, and he's taking it to the next level as a founder for Theta Rho Nu, a fraternity for the Black gay man, the Black gay professional man, founder and CEO of David Dodd Events. No one else can bring us what he's brought us. David Dodd. David, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am good. I think I got that all out.
You yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But you
uh,
did well. You did well.
but you've been doing some amazing things for the community. And first, before we even get into the interview, I want to say thank you, right? I want to say thank you because, and I use the word veteran in the community. I use it lightly, but here's my thought behind it. You see so many times people getting into the promoter space, trying to make impact, trying to make things happen, and oftentimes you see them get burned out, and you've
Yeah,
sustained what your commitment to the community, and you've been consistent with it. So I want to say thank you
yeah.
for the sacrifices that you've made to the community to be
Oh,
able to continue to give us what you give us.
oh, thank you. Oh, that means a lot. That means a lot. I don't let me tell you. I do this because it is about my love of community. It's not about a check. And I tell people that all the time. I believe in creating space for our people. I've been doing it for the past 20 years with, under these entities that I've been able to create, and then also working with other organizations in Chicago and even outside of Chicago, just doing exactly that. And so when I look at, the events that I do and how I do them, it's just all about community and bringing people together and having people to have a great experience, and be able to come together like I did when I first went to Chicago, when I first hit the scene. And that's how I
Hmm.
learned, and that's how I met some of the most amazing people in my life that I still have in my life today. So I want to be able to create those moments and experiences for other people as well.
That's amazing. And how long have you been in the Chicago land area?
Oh, I moved to Chicago when I was
Okay.
17. So I've been here for 25
Got it.
years.
Got it.
Yeah, right after I graduated high school, I'm from Washington D.C. originally, or the DMV. And yes, I did. Let me make sure we clear. Yes, I was born in Washington D.C. and I was partially raised in Southeast, Soufe,
Southeast.
Southeast, and then we moved to PG County, which is where I finished my education before moving to Chicago. Right after I graduated high school in 1999.
Got got it.
So
Okay.
yeah, we're talking before the new millennium.
All right. So coming from DC into Chicago, and I'm not sure if you were in the community quite yet. I know you came to Chicago when you were about 17 or so, but do you see a
Yeah.
difference in the Black gay community or the Black gay nightlife scene from DC to Chicago?
Yeah, of course, it's very different. When I came to when I came to Chicago, I mean, I'm familiar with like Tracks, the Whip, the Edge, the Follies, Jenny's. Like those were Fireplace. I mean, those are places that at least I knew at the time was the places to go for Black gay folk. Outside of Pride stuff and all that, but I wasn't too much immersed in any of that at the
Got it.
time. I mean, I did sneak in the tracks once, of course, with a fake ID, and I will admit to that. I think, but nightlife compared to then, most definitely, then is a little bit different. Even when I got to Chicago, when I first got here, a lot of the known staples in Chicago had already been
Hmm.
gone. Stop and Drink and some other places had already kind of shut down or were no longer in existence. And so community here was being shaped a little bit differently with events and things like that, or places to go. Where these things were kind of ongoing, at least for a few years, until DC did the regentrification, and then those places went
Got it.
away. The thing about I think about the thing that's different about going out today than going out even around that time is community is different. And I say that to say that clubs and bars and those places, I think, 25 years ago were places of solace, places of peace, places where people came together to be amongst each other and to celebrate one
Yeah.
another. And it was a different feeling then. Even in Chicago, then it was a different feeling than what it is now. Not to say that it's bad now; it's just very different. And how I think technology and other things have changed how we socialize and all of that, and how we come together in spaces. And oftentimes, you're not meeting your best friends anymore in the club. You're not meeting people that you even have in your life for many, many years in the club. Oftentimes now, you're just not. And so that's kind of the
Hmm.
difference. A lot of great work that actually took place outside of clubs actually were planned and thought of in clubs 25 years ago. That's how prides were
Yeah.
created, different other organizations and things like that. You don't hear about that much anymore.
Got
So
it.
just a little bit different, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
A changing of the
I
times.
think a sign of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah, just sign of the time.
Got it. So,
Yeah.
being a promoter, looking back, what are some of the biggest, I guess, challenges that you've had with trying to not only create community, but support community?
Mm. Mm. Um, Trying to create community, probably several challenges, right? So one, trying to find spaces and places that we can actually be and be celebrated, not tolerated.
Mm,
So that's kind of the thing. I mean, most of the spaces here in Chicago, specifically, they're not owned by us.
unfortunately.
um, yeah, and then not only they're not owned by us, there's a level of education that you have to do with many of these folk about the community that you serve and things that you cannot have happen in the space that you might typically happen if we were not here this night or what have you. So having those conversations, finance is always another
Mm,
thing
hmm.
um, as well because we spend money, but we're not always spending money on cocktails. And I just got to be 100 about that. We're gonna have like our fit gonna be like amazing, but we probably going exactly. We're gonna come in and probably have on a whole, Louboutins, the Givenchy sweater, some shades, whatever, all of that kind of stuff. But we're not spending it at the bar. And so oftentimes when you go to these places, they want to know the money. It's about the money for them, because they're a business. And so we have to be able to meet those guarantees or those requirements. And sometimes it's challenging, even when you have a house full of people,
Mm,
to do
hmm.
that. Okay, so that presents challenges. I think the other thing too is that people today, I think everything has to be like hot. Like who's to have the hottest party or the sexiest party, the boys, like not that that stuff was never really there to ever before, to be honest with you, but I think now it's kind of risen to the top a little bit more where people just go to the club because like, okay, we're going to the club Friday night because we're going to kick it, but now it's like, oh no, we're just gonna go here because we know this is the hot party to go to.
Mm,
Sometimes back, I just remember, and even in Chicago, when I first came to Chicago, like there were just the places that you would go because that was the places where people just went to have community or to just be a part of the community for the
yeah,
night. Now it's like 4 or 5 promoters or people doing events plus the clubs or whatever. People are like, okay, well, where everybody talking about where they're going, and then they'll choose to go,
got it.
which is a very different model today than just back then. So just again challenges with that. I mean, but it doesn't mean that greatness has to happen, and within that as well. You know, um, you just have to figure out how to make it all work and how to align all of the obstacles, with the other items to kind of bring it together to then create the space and the experience you want people to
True.
have. It's not impossible. You just have to make sure you just look at everything to do it and, make sure people are having a good time. At the end of the day, as I shift and see it, I'm sorry. You still make sure people have a good time. So that's pretty much how I
Yeah.
see it. Um, you know, and I've been able to have some great successes. So it's not impossible, but like you said, it's having done this for so long, the challenges are not going to stop, and these are just ongoing challenges, even 20 years in the game.
Got it. Got it. So, what do you, and this might not be a fair question to ask, but when you look at um, the community and how the community shows up, right? And it's often been said that promoters within the Black LGBTQ plus community are overlooked. So, what do you think? What do you think that one thing would be that you could fix to kind of change the perception for promoters in the community?
Hmm. What's interesting is that I don't know if I feel that promoters are overlooked, as I don't think that we get the respect that we deserve.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I think those are two different. I think those are two different things. So like, so for me, doing this is passion. It's not, like I said earlier, it's not about getting a check. I mean, of course, the finances are great. If an event does well and all of that, I can certainly say that. But most of the money that most promoters get are really being pumped right back into the next set of events, that they're hosting. So oftentimes the financial reward is not as great as people sometimes think it
Mm-hmm.
is. And so I say that to say, when you've been doing this for as long as I have, or if others have had that I partner with, have worked with, and have known for many years as
Mm-hmm.
well, this is not just about a check. They love to do this. They love to create space. They want to provide events and other things for the community so that there's something there, even if it doesn't see a strong financial benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of our community understands that. I think they don't know the backline of the backstories that we all have to go through, no matter who does events within this country, to make things happen oftentimes. Um, and because of that, it does make it somewhat challenging to deal with uh, at
Okay.
times.
Okay.
Because you just feel like, I don't think the thought is to shit on you. Let me just be honest with you. I don't think that's the thought, but I think that's how you feel
Yeah.
sometimes, right? And oftentimes you don't feel that it's appreciated um, at all, that kind of thing. And so that's pretty much that. But I will say, I think um, what I think a big thing is, stop coming to the parties 3 to 4 hours after the party starts. And I say that because I know nobody wants to be the first person to get to a party. I get it. But I think one of the things that folk don't understand, when we have these venues and you all are not showing up at the door, these managers, owners, whomever is running the night be looking at us like, where the people
Mm-hmm.
at?
Mm-hmm.
And then you come 3 to 4 hours late, and which is great. We want you in the building. Thank you for coming. But now we're slamming the bar. Or if no one's there, if you do get there a little bit earlier, nobody's there, you leave it, and then you telling your people like, ain't nobody
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. It's like I feel like sometimes as a black promoter, we don't get treated with the same respect as brick and mortar type establishments or places or whatever. So you might go to, I'll just say, some bars up north, stay in there until your boys come, but you won't come really to a black space sometimes and stay until your boys come. You'll tell them there's nobody here, and then you'll go
Right.
somewhere else. And I've seen that
Yeah.
firsthand. Um, and I'm not going to say that's the entire experience, but I think the thing that when I hear people say, "Oh, we don't have anything going on" or whatever, you also have to help the process in that. It's not just the promoter doing the event and planning it and reaching out and making sure people are aware of it. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, that's our jobs. But think about what we're doing as a way to bring community together and support it, and so that people are coming to it, so that it is a success, so we could keep providing this space for you to do it.
Right.
Because if you're not coming, no matter what we're doing, it wouldn't make a difference anyway.
True.
So versus saying don't come here, tell people to come and support, whether it's my event or anybody else who's doing events in this community. Whatever, because that's how we create space, is with you all coming. If you don't come, we can't create space.
This is true. This is true.
So it's kind of like, so it's kind of oxymoronic at the same
Right.
time, right? But it's
Right.
true.
And very important
You
too,
know what I mean?
because, and I've talked about this on a previous episode. Um, these spaces, these events that are curated, you're saving lives sometimes and you don't know it. You're
Yeah,
changing lives sometimes and you don't know it.
yeah.
You're giving someone a safe place, and let's break this down, a place where they can come and be themselves.
Selves, absolutely. No, Kenan, thank you for saying that. And I think that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
When I see, okay, so I'm gonna try to say this without getting a little like emotional about it, but like I went into this with heart, and knowing that I wanted other folk to feel like how I felt when I first was introduced to community. And so that's why I make it a point when I do have my events. I introduce myself to people. I've introduced other people to other people, like because that's what is supposed to happen. That's how we build. That's how we learn. That's how we support each other. That's how we come
Right.
together. Somebody has to do
Right.
it, right? And that was done for me. And so I wanted to do the same thing for others. And I think that's very important. Yeah, I mean, trust me, I want to shake my ass. I want to look at some cute boys too. Like, no one, come on, I'm not going to deny that. Like, none of us are going to deny that. But ultimately, um, we're there to like you said, love one
Yes.
another. And it shouldn't be a place where you feel like you're going to be degraded or don't feel fully supported, can't be who you want to be or be truly who you are. That's the world does that enough to us as it
Right.
is. You know what I mean? Especially being black and specifically gay and a man. And the intersectionalities of all of that together with is something within itself that's probably another podcast. But to be honest with you, but we don't need to do that to ourselves. And so when I create space, I want to create those opportunities for men who look, love, and live like me to feel to feel accepted, to feel a part of something, to feel a part of a greater sense of community. And that's why I do what I do. And I think everyone, let me just say this. I think as I put this out, I think everybody, and I'm so serious about this, who have supported me through the years, because that's important. I think everybody that walks through the doors, I think everybody for just for being there to show that they support what I'm trying to do for our community, and it means a lot to me. Like I cannot do this without them and without y'all. So I guess I could put this out that I can't. This could not be if y'all were not there. And so that's important to me. And I want to say that because oftentimes we don't really get the opportunity to say thank you to the people who support us. And I truly want to say thank you. It does mean a lot to me. So I'll go with
That's
that.
cool. That's cool. So, switching gears, right? So, you're taking it to the next level. And I feel like if we look back at your life, we will see an evolution. We'll see a story being told. Like, it's clear to see your journey, right?
Yeah.
So, you've now helped with founding a fraternity, Theta Rho Nu. Tell
Yeah.
us about Theta Rho Nu.
So Theta Rho Nu is a fraternity specifically for minority, same gender loving men,
Okay.
but with a professional slant. It is our opportunity to kind of bring, you know, our professional community together in a way that we can, harness all of our collective resources, efforts, and skills to be able to support one another as we grow in our own careers and our own personal lives, but also utilize that greatness to then create greatness in our community as well. And so that's the premise. That's pretty much in a nutshell what
Mm-hmm.
it is. We've been around since 2021. So we're relatively new. We're looking at year three, year four will be next year. I serve in the role of, I like to call it external affairs, but I guess communications and marketing
Okay.
is the role that I serve for the organization, as also being a founder of it. There's a few additional brothers. There's Dr. Kenneth Freeman, who's in Raleigh, North Carolina, where we were founded. He's our president and the originator of the organization. There's TJ Mize, who serves as our chief of staff, and Matt Richardson is our membership affairs person. And so we've all kind of come together
Mm-hmm.
collectively as friends and colleagues to develop something that we think is worthy of, I think, who we are as
Hmm.
men, but also I think worthy of other men in our community who are looking for similar
Hmm.
opportunity. Um, and we don't really come together as professionals. I think the club scene is one thing, and all that, that's a different thing. But I don't think we ever come together professionally, and talk about our experiences in that way and how we can leverage those experiences to create more opportunity for ourselves and for our community. And so that's what we want to do. That's the premise, essentially.
Got it. Got it. And I of course, I do look forward to joining soon. I will say that here in front of everybody, I will be a part. And it's because,
Yes.
and I'll say it, fraternities you associate brotherhood with fraternities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not to say and that is the entire Black gay experience or Black gay
Right.
professional experience, but I've oftentimes seen circles where that brotherhood isn't really at the forefront of why we deal with each other sometimes.
Right.
And um, I can appreciate that something like this exists, but it exists from you actually studying and being a part of the community and seeing a change that needs to happen and then flipping it and
Yeah.
being that change that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So there are pillars, right, to Theta Rho
Yes.
Nu, and one of them is sovereignty. Describe
Yeah.
for me what that means for you and means for the fraternity as a whole.
In layman's terms, I mean, sovereignty means to pretty much be able to be self-governing. Um, and I think that oftentimes we don't think of ourselves in that capacity at all. And I think we always are trying to figure out how someone should accept us. I think as one as black gay folk and certainly as black men, and then certainly being in the professional environment, same kind of thing. Where this is an opportunity for us to be able to create that, create what we want to put out to the world, and what we want to do with each other, and demonstrate, that we are strong, that we are better together,
Right,
that with the complexities that it is to be and live within the intersectionalities of who we are, you don't have to do it alone, and we can really talk about the things that need to be talked about, and really put some real thoughts, some real work behind that, and create a
right.
vision that sets the stage for how we want to be seen in our communities, and even in the broader world. You know what I mean? Like, I think oftentimes, and I hate to say this, and this is no disrespect to anybody, everything is not about throwing shade
Mm-hmm.
and twerking and everything like that. People are living real lives and dealing with real shit. You know what I mean? And even those of us who are professional, and trying to create the lives that we want to have, and support the families that we've created, whether they're ours or chosen. That we have that blessing
Mm-hmm.
to do that. But I think most definitely, this is an opportunity to really kind of come together in a real way and put out something that is truly for us, by us, done by us, supported by us, researched by us, everything by us. No one's coming into this room to dictate what we do, what we say, how we
Right.
say it. Um, One, and then I think when we talk about the brotherhood piece of it, that's how you also create brotherhood, right? I think understanding that you're all in the same space, you're on the same page, and that connection and that bond is what is keeping you together, right? And so that's what's important, and I think all of that together will then help to shape that sovereign vision for the organization. And I think the other piece to it too is you know we just need to create a space where we are just not looked at as one thing. Um, and sometimes even within our own community, I don't think that we don't do a great job at
Mm-hmm.
that.
I got it.
I think there are a lot of things that we focus on that is about, um, you know, what I would like to say shiny. Um, but but there's people behind it. There's people who are working behind that, who have other things that have to be addressed. And so we want to be able to utilize the organization to bring all this together and to come up with, whether it's programming or events or whatever, things that's going to actually make sense for the community that we're trying to serve. And so, yeah,
Got it.
that in a nutshell.
Got it. And we don't have to get into the other pillars, but I will say I appreciated how everything was laid out. Like I've done my research, and like I said, I am planning to join. But sovereignty,
Yeah.
loyalty, passion, unity, truth, and synergy, right?
Yes.
All
Oh, synergy doesn't always mean, wait a minute, because synergy is like being on the same page. No, 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 no. No, 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 no,
okay,
no. Honest, because people think like, oh, you think the same. No, synergy doesn't mean we think the
got
same.
it.
Synergy, because we're all different, right? We all come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, personal and professional, right? But it's about bringing all of those things together and working together, which is where the synergy comes in
Mm-hmm.
at, to then be able to create something to move forward with.
Got it.
I think oftentimes too, especially in spaces when you're doing community work, especially with our community, at times people expect for you to think the same way. No, we're all human. We're not going to think the
Mm-hmm.
same, But again, the purpose is greater than what our individual thought. And so, as long as we understand the purpose and the
Right.
goal, then regardless of the maybe bumping of heads and all that kind of stuff, we'll be able to get there.
So how do you clear through the noise? How do you clear through the dick prints? How do you clear through the ass play, the ass? How do you clear through all of those things that are so-called getting the attention of the greater community to present this that's something different? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Uh, how can I put it? I don't think there's ever going to be a time where we're going to get away from it. And I think we have to be honest about that,
Okay.
right? I think we have to be honest about that. But what I will say is that it should not necessarily be in the forefront of who we are.
Got it.
I think, look, I'm human. I'm human. You're human. I believe in people. I believe in sex positivity. I believe in people going after for the things that they want, even the men that they want. That's not going to stop. That's not going to stop. I think that's going to happen to the end of time.
Okay.
Okay, but what I do believe is that oftentimes we can lead with that, and through Theta Rho Nu, that's not what we want to lead with. We want to lead with, who you are as a person, what you offer from that lens, and what you bring with your professional skill set or other skill sets that you may have that's going to help us to shape and form the organization, and then help us to create community how we see community based on the mission and vision of the organization. And that is not rooted in
Mm-hmm.
that. It's much more deeply rooted and much more deeply connected than that. And I think that's what all of us feel as founders. And having had other experiences, with other um, Black Black gay Greek organizations specifically. I want to make sure I say that specifically because I don't want to say every organization is the
Mm-hmm.
same. But you know, I didn't really get a sense of that through the course of time, and I was there for quite some time, but I didn't get a sense of that. I felt like the purpose had
Mm-hmm.
left. Um, and I no longer believe in being in places that don't serve me.
Mm.
And so once I saw that, I just moved on. And again, no love lost, nothing like that, not even mad about it, just was
Right.
done. And needed to move on and forge forward. Um, but a lot of people don't even know that there's a black gay Greek culture that even exists largely and has been around for over 20 years. So Theta Rho Nu is not necessarily like, the
Right.
first. We're probably like one of
I'm glad
many.
you said that. I
Um,
didn't know. I did not know.
yeah, it's a whole world. I mean, it's a whole world. This year we went to LGBTQ plus Greek weekend in Atlanta just to get to introduce us to that world and the organization to that world. And there's so many different organizations that I didn't even know about myself. And the good thing about it is, and I think that's great about this culture is that you can create lanes and space for everybody.
True.
Pretty much there's something for everyone under the umbrella. Even those who are non-binary and gender non-conforming, trans men and women. I mean, there's quite a group of them. Which I think is great
Yeah.
actually. I think that's great to create that space. And not to knock D9 in any capacity, way, shape, or form. I don't think anybody wants to do that. And I know, just looking at more recent years, they've been a little bit more forthcoming about supporting members who are of the LGBTQ plus community, and everything like that. I think that's a wonderful thing. But I think there's a difference where you can kind of just walk in the door and you just know that you are wholly accepted because the same people in the room are of same experience and of same likeness in certain respects.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different feeling. It doesn't knock that, but it's just a different feeling.
Got it. Got it. Well, I'm excited about it and I'm appreciative. Although Theta Rho Nu is not the first, but it's an addition and it means that we're growing, we're getting stronger as a community, you know? So kudos to you. Now, w- I have to ask, what's something that people don't know about David?
What is something that people do not know about David? Oh wow, that is, oh my god, that is, you put me on the spot with the question. I don't even know. Like, I'm like, where do I want to take this?
Let me change the question. What's something that you want
Okay.
people to know about you?
Oh, as much as I am an extroverted person, I'm such a private person at the same time. I'm like, I don't want y'all to know shit. No, I'm kidding. No. So people don't know this. So this is actually a good one. This is
Okay.
a good one. So the reason why I moved to Chicago was because I watched the movie Love Jones. And I fell in love with Chicago in the movie. I don't think I'm not going to say it was just Chicago. I also fell in love with Lorenz Tate. But I was like, I was going to find my Lorenz Tate in Chicago.
Got it.
Um, and so, and so Chicago is where I came. No family here. I had no family here at all. I just moved here, when I was 17 by myself. And so then 2 years later, found my Lorenz Tate, and then we were together for 10 years. So that's probably something that a lot of people don't
I
know.
love that.
One. So that's kind of like my backstory of how I got to Chicago. Um, and then I'm like, the other part was like something like, okay, something fun. I feel like it's one of those fun facts that you like do at work. Like, tell somebody at work that you don't know about yourself. Um, I am a championship winning bowler.
Bowling, got it.
I love to bowl. Okay, so this is the thing. I love to bowl. Bowling is one of my favorite pastimes. I've been doing it since I was 12. So that's kind of like one of David's hidden things that a lot of people don't know about.
Wait, do you
Um,
have your own ball?
I do. I have my own ball. I have my own
Do you have your own
shoes.
shirt?
Um,
Do you have one of the custom shirts?
I don't have one of the custom shirts. I just go with what I got on, and I just throw my balls down the alley. um, but no, it's what, I'm not, so that's kind of that piece of it. But like, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, oh, I believe in self care, so I am big on you know massages and facials and all that kind of stuff. Just when you work hard, I don't always believe in playing hard just because you work hard. Sometimes you just need to take care of self when you do all those things. And so I'm learning to do that better. And so yeah, I do that now more so than anything. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm kind of simple. Like I think people think because you're a promoter, you do stuff like that. Think you like your life is so and like you get all this. No, I'm pretty simple. Like I am not
In my
like,
head,
like I'm pretty
in my
simple.
head, the turn up is all the time with you, like all the time, because you're a promoter. So but there's another side. Like that's not just who you
Yes.
are all the time. It's a part of you.
No, I mean when I'm out, let's do it. I'm having usually either if I'm not dancing, I'm usually talking to people and mingling or whatever. So I'm like that's my thing.
Yeah,
But like honestly, I'm just chill. Like when I am not doing any of that, I am chilling.
got it.
I'm at home in this house that I bought last year.
Congratulations.
Just oh thank you. Just just resting and trying to get some
Yeah.
sleep so that I can turn up when you did say I was a vet. So we need more we need more sleep these days.
We do. This is true. We do. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so that
So
kind of
let
thing.
me ask you, if you had the opportunity to speak to a younger or a new promoter in the community
Hmm.
who's trying to find their way and trying to figure out how they can have the longevity that you've had, what would you have to say to them?
Don't do it for the money.
Got it.
This is not about the money. You can get money anywhere. If you are doing this, you are doing it because you're truly trying to create a niche or a space for folks who need to come together, regardless of what it is. Because even in our community, we're not monolithic at all, and I think there are different sub. I always say there's always subcultures underneath the larger culture in our
Mm-hmm.
community, and so if you are doing it, making sure you are doing it for those reasons, you know, not to just be popular, not to just be to have your name in lights, or whatever that looks like. Do it because you truly care about providing space for the community which you're trying to serve, that it's a passion for you, that is something you truly want to do out of the goodness of your heart, not because you're trying to get paid.
Got it.
And I believe that when you do things out of your heart, the money will come. And I can certainly say that's been my experience of it. But I would certainly say do it because it's I call it, it's hard work, but it's heart work. Okay,
Hard
so
work.
that's what this is for me. So I just always say that to others. Do it for that reason.
I love that. And actually, so shout out to you. Thank you for being a host for us. So,
Yeah,
Black Gay Table Talk, if you did not know already, we are having our first annual imagination party. Woo! I'm so corny, but listen.
that's
It's
okay. You're
right. I'm
excited.
excited. It's going to be an amazing time. Body paint, live music, and actually, you get to paint the models that will be present. Oh gosh, there's a DJ. There's gonna be just opulence. It's gonna be really, really nice. So thank you, David, for being our
Yeah,
host.
I'm
We couldn't
excited.
find anybody that fit. I'm sure there are others out there, but you were perfect. You were perfect.
We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have
Yes.
some fun. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm excited to host. Thank you for even considering me. I always appreciate that. So thank you so much for that. I think it's gonna be a good time, and I'm gonna have some fun that night. I might have to pay one of the models myself, have them come up on the stage and let me, get a couple of brushstrokes in. That.
It's gonna be lit.
I might do. So yes, so I'm excited. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a good time. I think it's gonna be a good time. So thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yes. So is there anything that we've not covered that you would want? us to talk about now?
No, not really. I mean, I was only gonna say with Theta Rho Nu in particular, we are, um, even though we're starting our first line process, that's happening in starting in January and it concludes in March of 2025. But our acceptance into, our intake membership program is ongoing. It's a rolling process. So certainly feel free to get in those interest applications and all of that. You can go to thetaronu.org backslash, I think, interest, to apply to put in the interest application. You'll get it, some information back to you. Someone will be in contact with you to even talk to you more. We've got more information that's coming up. We got a whole schedule of things happening. And it's and I'm very proud. We've launched a website less than 60 days ago, at least from today. Um, and the amount of interest applications we've gotten in and actual full applications to join the line process for January 2025, it's just been amazing. So I want to thank everybody really for the opportunity to allow us to share our vision with the community. Thank you, Philip Esteem over at Pride Index, and Andrew Davis at Windy City Times, and just thank you guys so much. It's really been important to me to get this out here, and you all have seen some greatness in this, and think it's something that folks should know about, and that means a lot to me too. So, but yeah, I mean, but that's it. Yeah, I think that's the piece. And of course, folks can find me everywhere on social, but I guess you'll probably will put that information up too with the whole piece. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's me. That's all in a nutshell. That's me.
Well, we appreciate you. We support you. And I definitely want to have you back on the show so we can keep tabs of what's going on with Theta Rho Nu and keep tabs of what's going on with David Dodd Events. So, yes,
Yeah.
congratulations to you and many, many wishes for all the blessings and success that you can handle. Yes, we will be putting the links in the show description for Theta Rho Nu. Maybe you can make that application deadline and just see what's going on with them. And of course, David Dodd Events. We will have his Instagram handle in the description as well. Um, it's an amazing time. It's an amazing time for us in the community. With all the noise going on out in the world, we know the impacts when we show up and show out. And this is a call. So if you're watching, share this to a friend that you think this may impact or may resonate with. And share these links, share this information. Again, we know the impacts when we show up and show out. Peace.